Once again, we welcome you to the program Know Yourself that comes your way to help build your relationship and to have a meaningful relationship with your spouse, your partners, and people in the society at large. Today, once again, we want to share with you another interesting topic, a continuation of what we did the last time about Christian parenting. Let's call this one part 2. And you remember that we talked about the fact that we need 3 component areas when we want to parent our children. 1, we talked about training. We talked about love. Today we're looking at discipline. In today's society, which is full of corruption, the children see evil in the society more than good. And so as they grow up, if you remember, I said the basic and primary training grounds for a child is the home. So if you don't put certain things in place at home, then you must be sure that society will have a toll effect, a very negative one, on your children. And so today, discipline is something that I want to give ear to. I want to borrow this from the scriptures, Proverbs chapter 13 and verse 24. And the Bible says that he who spares the rod hates his son, but he who loves him is careful to discipline him. You spare the rod, you hate your son or your children. But if you love him, then you would also not just discipline him, you would be careful in disciplining your child. Discipline them diligently, your children, consistently, and early in life. Try early, even when they are toddlers. When they want to cry for something and you believe it is not helpful to them, never give it to them. Try and then start early in life. Other than that, by the time they are around teens, it becomes very difficult to control them. Again, in your quest to discipline your children, be a fair disciplinarian. Reward when need be, punish when need be, and be consistent in discharging this duty of disciplining your children. Don't discriminate. Be fair. Again, make your children aware that there are consequences for any actions they take in life. And that is why at times you need to punish them. And then with love and care. Again, we read from Proverbs chapter 22, verse 15. And the Bible says that folly is bound up in the heart of a child, but a rod of discipline will drive it far from him. And here I want to use the rod loosely to be correction. So, our children are born into this sin-sick world filled with rebellious hearts. And so the Bible says it takes spanking to correct them. Child rearing that neglects spanking when needed is not effective parenting. So when need be, you need to spank your child. Never reject the Bible caution. This is caution from the scriptures. Never reject it. In discharging your duty as a parent to discipline and to raise your children, endeavor to seek wisdom from God. He is the one who provides. Children are different, and so the particular child will determine the kind of measures you should use. And that is why I said you should seek wisdom from God. Be very wise in your approach to discipline. Reasonable physical force is recommended. I am adamantly opposed to child abuse in any form, physical, verbal, sexual, or any other form. At the same time, I do believe and practice, that is the biblical recommendation for spanking. I do spank my children when need be. Do it with wisdom, self-control, and then consistent with the laws of the nation wherever you are. Remember, they are your children, they are not your enemies. So you are not to kill them or let them injure them. No. Do it with love. I want to suggest, because I'm talking about spanking, areas where whether the child is very young or whatever, when they you see these areas that I'm going to suggest to you, when they offend or commit a mistake in any of these areas, then you need to do that. They are disobedient to you, defiance, open sin such as lying to you blatantly, bad attitudes. And again, you need to expect your children to obey the first time. Try it early enough. Other than that, they will not learn from you. Some children, when you want to send them or tell them to do something, unless you repeat, no. Expect the first time for them to obey. Other forms of discipline, apart from spanking, would also be time outs. It's time to sleep. Or you remove certain privileges and more. Maybe your child likes playing with a certain game, or maybe a certain program on the telly, and he or she has done something. You don't need to spank him or her all the time. You can remove certain privileges from them. That is also another form of discipline. And also be ahwɛfo na etiefo yɛma wɔn akɔ aba ɛma dwumadzi a yɛato ne dze know yourself. Yɛdze sisi hɛn mbra hɛn asetem kɔ na ebutumi yɛn hɛn adɔfo atena wɔ asomdwee mu na obiara nso. Ndɛ ɔyɛ ma yɛba dwendwem ho yɛadze a ohia pa wɔ hɛn asetem ne hɛn brɛ mu. Onye kwan ebutumi atete mmɔframa afa nyamesom ɛkwan do atete mmɔframa ne fa ɔtɔdo ebien. Yɛadwe ne yɛ ho ɛwɔ bere a ɔdzi kan no dɛ sɛ yɛtete mmɔframa ndzɛmba ebaasa na ɔde yɛhwɛ. Yɛbɛtrain no wɔn ɔno ntetea no, na ɔtɔ do ebien ɔde yɛkyerɛ ɔdɔ yɛdze ma ɔno. Ɔtɔ do ebaasa no yɛ atenetene. Ɔno ndɛ epɛ dɛ yɛdwe ho. Ndɛ yɛhwɛ yɛn wiase yɛwɔ mu yi a, mo wɔatwa yɛn ho ahyia hɛn ara yɛ basabasa. Mɔrɔkɔ do wɔ TV do na mmea ahorow. Nti sɛ abɔfraba sɛ ama ne fapem pa ɛwɔ fie a, ɔno ne daakye Nyankopɔn amboa wo a ɛna wɔnwie wo yie. Ɔno nti sɛ yɛhwɛ Kyerɛwsɛm ɔnam dɛ yɛfa Nyamesam kwan do atete ne nti mɛfa biribi afiri Kyerɛwsɛm wɔ mabusam etir a ɔyɛ dubaasam ne kyekyɛm a ɔyɛ aduonu anan. Ɔsɛ ebiara a woba yɛ bɔn na ɛnteɛ no na ɛkyerɛ dɛ ikyiri no. Na Bible no san toa dɛ sɛ ɛdɔ wo ba a na ɛdze ahwɛyie ɛtenetene no. Nti nyɛ dɛ ɛtenetene nti asɔre a na pupupu. Na mmom wɔde yɛ ahwɛyie. Ɛtenetene wo ba na wɔnyi nda hɔ. Ma wo biribiara so ɔnyɛ esaw do wano. Afei hyɛ ase ntam ɛwɔ abere wo susu a mantwa no ma wo ba no nyɛ mpanyimfo nsa na ahyɛ ase dɛ ɛtenetene ho. Wɔyɛ mmɔframma na wɔdze sugye na biribi dɛm mampen adzekɔ no a ɔresu dɛ ɔbɛgye ɔmboa no a mamfama. Hyɛ ase ntam ɛwɔ abere no mu. Mɔtɔ dɛ ebien sɛ ɛretentene a mesrɛ wo ara mɛnyɛ yiyim ɛwɔ mmɔframma no mu. Ma ɛdze bɛyɛ abɔfra bi a ɔyɛ besi a ne benyin Kwame ana Kwaku ana Adwo ana Kwofie no. Mesrɛ wo ara pɛpɛɛpɛ mɛnyɛ yiyim. Na bɔ mmɔdzen nso ma wo mmɔframma no hu dɛ nimpa anammɔ no biara yɛbotu ɛwɔ hɛn brɛ mu no wɔ nsunsuando. Ɔno nti na ɛyɛ a wɔyɛ mfomda a yɛtentene ho. Bible no train na adwen gyina do biem ɛwɔ mmebusɛm etir a ɔyɛ aduonu ebien ne nkyekyɛm a ɔyɛ du enum. Dɛ abɔfraba n'akoma ho sɛ asoɔdze na ɔda hɔ a ɔyɛ abaa ɛna wɔdze fi hɔ. Na eyi kyerɛ atenten. Ɔno nti sɛ yɛhwɛ hɛn wiase yɛ bɔne ahyɛ do ɛman a mmɔframa wɔaba wɔn asoa ɔyɛ dzen. Ebi wɔ hɔ koraa nhwɛ a ɛbɔdwen dɛ ma yɛdzi kan ahɔn a wotie dwumadzi yɛka biribi fa conduct disorder na bɛka agya ma ɔba no mpo dɛm yɛreba ɛna ɔyɛr. Nanso na ɔnyɛ dɛm. Ɔyɛ asoɔdze nti ɔwɔ dɛ ɛtenten wo ba. Na sɛ ɛretenten wo ba a, mesrɛ wo ara fa ɔdɔ nso ɛbɛta ho. Mesrɛ wo ma Bible no aka ɛfa n'abɛn ho no na ma ɔyɛ mfiri. Na ɛno nso ebiem ame ma mbɛsrɛ dɛ srɛ nyansa efiri Nyankopɔn hɔ esiane dɛ ɔso na abɔfraba biara o ɛna kwan a yɛfa do na yɛdze teten. Kwan a mɛfa do dze tete me ba no mentumi nkɛra fa tete ho dze. Nti dɛ biara da ne Nyankopɔn na ɔno botum waboɔ bebree. Sɛ tenten wo ba a mesrɛ wo ara ɔnyɛ wo tamfo nti memprɛ fa ɔdɔ ɛto ho. Mɛrekyɛ nan dɛ biribiara a yɛbɛyɛ anammɔn bi a yɛbotum nsunsuane bi wɔ hɔ. Kwan a yɛbotum abɔfraba ndzɛmba bi a ɔyɛ a sɛ ɔsɔ po yɛbotum yɛama yɛtwa n'abaa anaa yɛtwa ne srɛ ho kakra no. Ebi nye dɛ ɛka asɛm kyerɛ no biara a ɔmpɛ dɛ ɔdze yɛ adwuma. Mmɔframa bi wɔ hɔ a soɔdze no papaapa yi. Ebinom wɔ hɔ a bɔn fitaa ogyina wɔn anim na ɔretwa akɔhwe. Mpo wɔ abere a akye no ɛno dɛm ndzɛmba a ɔtete dɛm no. Na bɔ mmɔdzen nso dɛ sɛ wo mba ɛka asɛm kyerɛ wɔn a ma odzi kan nara hwɛ dɛ ɔdze bɛyɛ adwuma. Na ndzi dɛ ɛka nsa na adze kɔ no wayɛ. Nti bɔ mmɔdzen na fa ɔno nso ɛyɛ adwuma. Afei sɛ yɛdze abaa yɛdze boro mmɔframa no to nkyɛn a yɛwɔ kwan foforɔ nso yɛtum na yɛtenten mmɔframa. Bi wɔ hɔ a ndzɛmba bi wɔ hɔ pia paa. Te dɛ ɔwɔ video game bi, ɔwɔ TV do dwumadzi bi a wodzi a ɔpia paa na soɔdzen bi a ɔyɛ nti nyɛ ne nyinaa na ɛbɛbɔ no. Ebi a ɔsɛ ndɛ mɛma nhwɛ dɛm program no anaa mɛma mmɔ wo dɛm games no. Ɔno nso yɛ kwan a yɛtum yɛfa do na yɛdze tenten mmɔframa. And so today we want to end by saying that we have gone through the 3 key components in raising children. And so in trying to parent your children, train them, love them, and then discipline them. You will have lifelong delight watching your children live out their lives as productive, godly adults after you have trained, loved, and disciplined them. I am sure when put in place with assistance from God, we shall enjoy the fruit of our labor. Thanks so much for your time. Again, we invite your comments, we invite your suggestions so we can serve you better. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.